Hello everyone, welcome to Communication Skills for Everyone. Today I'm come with COVID-19 vocabulary. Coronavirus. Any one of a large family of viruses that can cause disease in the breathing and eating systems of humans and animals, especially in respiratory and digestive systems. Coronavirus disease can range from the relatively harmless common cold to more severe and potentially fatal diseases such as SARS, SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome. Next, COVID-19. COVID-19, it's the official name for the novel coronavirus disease which is emerged in China in 2019. COVID-19, that is coronavirus disease 2019. So based on that, they have given the abbreviation COVID-19. Next one, SARS-CoV-2. This is like a severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2. This is actually final name for the coronavirus that causes COVID-19. Novel coronavirus. The word novel means new, and a newly identified coronavirus strain is often called a novel coronavirus. So this is until they gave it a name, the people mostly referred COVID-19 as novel coronavirus. Index case. Index case is defined as the first documented case uh, or of an infectious disease or genetically transmitted condition of or mutation in a population or region or family. Index patient. Index patient is determined as an individual affected with the first known case of an infectious disease. Infectious disease, generally transmitted condition or mutation in a population, region or family. Patient 0, the person identified as the first to become infected with a disease in an outbreak. Next word is community spread. This is a transmission of disease directly within a community and not by importation from a foreign source. For example, with this many new positive cases, the evidence suggests that we now have community spread right here in our country. So not in India, just I'm using an expression that community spread. Next, contact tracing. So this is identification and monitoring of people who may have had contact with an infectious person. Carrier, a person or animal that transmits a disease to others, whether suffering from it themselves or not. So people who are asymptomatic can still be carriers. Contagious. This is like describing a disease that can pass from person to person, usually by direct contact. So you're like describing a person with such a disease. Next, diagnose. It's a verb. Identify an illness by examining the symptoms. Diagnosis, noun. This is like identification of an illness by examination of the symptoms. Next one, droplets. The spray produced when people cough or sneeze and which can spread diseases like COVID-19. So for example, healthcare personnel wear protective clothing to guard against the disease carried in droplets when infected people sneeze or cough. Epidemic. Epidemic, it's the occurrence of particular disease in a large number of people in a particular area. The city, New York City, was devastated by an epidemic of COVID-19. Example, just I'm giving an example. Right, the next. Incubation period. The time from a person's first exposure to a disease to the time when symptoms develop. When they know, for example, when they know the incubation period, they will know how long to keep people in quarantine. Infect. Affect a human or animal with a disease causing organism. Infected. It's affected with a disease causing organism. So, for example, they were able to cure the infected left lung before the infection could spread to the right lung. Infection, noun. So, process of infecting, the state of being infected or infectious disease. Infectious, like it's describing a disease that can be transmitted through the environment. Describing a human or animal capable of spreading an infection. It's called infectious. Isolate. Keep an infected person away from healthy people. Example, they will isolate anyone suspected of having the disease. Isolation. Separation of infected people from healthy people for serious contagious diseases like COVID-19. For instance, travelers arriving from the infected area were immediately put in isolation. Next word, mask. A piece of fiber or cloth that fits over the nose and mouth to protect other people from the weaver's germs and or the weaver from germs in the air. The World Health Organization recommend that people should not wear masks unless they may be carrying COVID-19 here to protect other people or caring for anyone suffering from COVID-19 to protect themselves. But in India, mask is must once they are moving out of home. Outbreak. A sudden occurrence of a disease or any unpleasant thing. For example, there was another outbreak of the disease in 1993, but the cause was uncertain. Pandemic. Occurrence of a particular disease throughout a whole country or the world. Just after, for instance, just after the First World War, there was a pandemic of flu which killed up to 40 million people worldwide. Pathogen, a microorganism or a germ such as bacterium or virus that can cause disease. For instance, fortunately, most pathogens are dealt with by body's immune system. PCR test. Test that detects viral particles in blood or other body fluids. PCR, polymerase chain reaction. The PCR test is one of the tools that doctors use to diagnose certain coronavirus diseases. Personal protective equipment or PPE kits, we say special clothing, headgear, goggles, masks, and other garments that shield people from injury or infection. Much of the PPE worn by doctors and nurses has to be worn once only and destroyed after the use. Person to person, describing the spread of a disease from one person to another, typically through touch, including shaking hands, kissing, so on and so forth. Quarantine, isolation and monitoring.